mean, they had the testimony of Sammy Ramirez, a high up, supposedly high up Nuestra Familia gang member who, supervised the Norteño street gangs. And he provided this theory of the prosecution, which was that there is a green light on the mob gang, and that in order to get that green light lifted, they had to commit crimes, specifically the murder of Sureños.
Sure, how he was tied to their creation. He himself testified that his business partner was Javier Garcia, who was, the evidence showed, a shot caller, a leader of this mob gang.
Nosotros fumamos, chingamos, hackeamos, peleamos, cuetamos, aquí estamos y no los vamos, rifamos todo. ¡Chao!
Always been humble, but these pussies wanna push me. My whole life in and out been uglier than Whoopi, and all I wanna do is bubble like Cookie. Haters wanna see me fucked off like I'm Tookie. Ran around with snakes and look at where it took me. Up and down 22 times like a burpee. Still fucking beefing with these pussies in my 30s. Still fucking do them hella nasty, hella dirty. Did you hear me? Cold as a Slurpee. That loud ass mouth guarantees you on a shirt, G. Fucking with me, she starts looking blurry. A real fucking shooter like Kobe and Curry.
This is episode 35. On this episode, I'm going to talk about familia, the importance of familia, and what we do as young men when we decide to commit and join these gangs for a long term, a long time, where we're in a destructive mode, on this destructive path, where no one can tell us nothing. And anybody who does, especially the people that love us, we rebel against them. You know what I'm saying? And we look for reasons to blame them for everything that goes wrong. You know what I'm saying? We do have choices in this life, money. And I know it's easy for us to say that when we are older. These choices are not foreseen. These choices are not available when you're young. That's what people got to understand. Like, these are not choices that are available when you're young. When you're young, you don't even know what you want to do, what choices you meet people. You know, you latch on to other people and, create a team amongst these people and join gangs and do this and do that and get involved in the criminal element to where you're no longer around your immediate family. You've actually went to a point where you're going to jails and going to jails and going to jails, that you've committed yourself to this secondary family on the streets. And this family carries on into the jail system, and you know what I'm saying? And that's where, you know what I'm saying, you basically grow into either it's one of two. Either you're gonna get scared and not want to go back to jail, or you're gonna be all you can be and be in jail all the time, money, and maybe even for life. You know what I'm saying? Because this gang shit, like I said, it's not only affecting your life, it's affecting everybody who's around you. It's like, your moms, you know what I'm saying, and them, they could be going through a lot of shit because you're going to jails. Depending on who your mom is. If your mom ain't on drugs, your mom ain't on alcohol, and you're fucking mijo of the year, you know what I'm saying, then you gonna kill your mom, money, being in jails like this. You know what I'm saying? If you're the only sibling, money, to your other sibling, and you're going to jails early and they never even got to even know you, meet you, or anything, honey, or you tragically get whacked out, or you whack someone into life, they could spend the rest of their life trying to help you get back out. They could spend the rest of their life hating the fact that you went to jail, or hating their own life. You know what I'm saying? There's like a lot of things that can happen. You have revenge killings, you know what I'm saying, where people whack somebody, disappear, and then they go and get the younger brother or older brother or cousin or sister, aunt, whatever it is, and whack them out, money. So your siblings have to pay for the decisions that you make when it comes to this gang shit, when it comes to this lifestyle of being incarcerated, not giving a fuck, the dope game, all that shit. Anything that got to do with sending your ass to jail. It don't got to be a gang, money. You could just be involved with some criminal element type of shit where you still get life in prison doing the shit you're doing with these people. You know what I'm saying? So the whole point is it's not about what you're doing. It's about what you're doing that's affecting the people around you that love you the most, your immediate family, man. How it affects your sister. Now, you might think, oh, my sister's okay. But, she ended up with some vato that was a drug addict, man. Got her all drugged up. You know, she ended up with the vato. There was an alcoholic and beats her up all the time. And she don't want to tell you because she knows you'll fucking kill this fool. You know what I'm saying? Or she just don't want you to get in trouble because she sees, you know, you're living your life. You got your family that you have to, you know, watch over and take care of. You know what I'm saying? But no matter what, you weren't there for her, money, because you weren't there, or him. Either or of you know, siblings or even more than one sibling. You just weren't there because you were too busy banging norte or the south to where you were always going in and out of jails, in and out of jails, in and out of jails. And you left all these other people behind, money, the real motherfuckers that matter, and made these other people priority and just kept on destroying your life while building this other brand and knocking down what matters the most, money, because like I said, your little carnalito could be walking down the street, something happened to him. You know, my little carnalito, money, at a young age, 11, 12, he tried to come to the hood. At this point, money, I was always in and out of jail since he was basically born. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know my little brother at this point when he's 11, 12 years old. He don't really even know me. But he's coming to the hood, money, and I'm telling him to get the fuck out of here. Now, I ain't telling him to get the fuck out of here because I don't want him around me. I'm telling him to get the fuck out of here because SSP, Canton, VST, VSJ, Horseshoe, anybody can come around this corner. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the shit is retarded. It's nasty as fuck. A lot of shit's popping. A lot of shit's happening. You can't be out here. Go home. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did to him. But in his head, he heard, get away from me. You know what I'm saying? And he sees me around all these other people. And I don't want to be around him, though. You got to remember, when we say shit a certain way and don't realize how these people are hearing it or how it's being processed as we're telling them these things. You know what I'm saying? And they may not process it because you didn't explain right. You just hush them away. You know what I'm saying? But it's your sister. I did a lot of things, money, to protect my family. Or at least I thought I was protecting my family. But I went all about it wrong. It's like that old saying, money, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about. It's that type of shit. Now my little brother, money, when he came and I sent him in the hood instead of, you know, telling him to get the fuck out of here, like I did, and it was just to keep him out the way, keep him out of trouble, keep him away from the bullshit, and overall make sure that nothing happens to him. He's out of harm's way. But he didn't take it like that, money, and he held a lot of resentment for a long time against me. Me and my brother never really got to know each other. My brother's a 30-something-year-old man. My baby brother. It's the baby of all of us. 6 of us. I don't really never know them little motherfucker. And he don't even take heed to anything I say like a, you know, like a little brother would to a big brother. Instead, he like always went against everything, rebelled against me. And I only wanted what was best for him because I already knew what was it. You know what I'm saying? What I was doing wasn't best for him. So I try to keep him away from it. But because I'm the big brother, he wants to be like me and I forget about that type of shit because I'm too busy, you know, handling business in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So my little brother, like I said, this affected his life, my boy. What I did, and I didn't realize this shit. When my brother came and hit me up, I should have took him to the movies. I should have took him out to eat. I should have took him to the go-karts. I should have took him to the arcades. I should have took him bowling alley. I should have did something with the money. I should have spent some time with my little brother, and I never fucking did, my boy. Because I was too busy fucking banging money. When you're out of jail, not giving a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And that not give a fuck mentality kept me away from my family, from the people that needed me around them the most, for guidance, for support. You know what I'm saying? And because we didn't have that in our household with parents. You know, my mom was always fucking drunk. She worried about her fucking self mostly. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had a roof over our head. We didn't live, you know, when we barely came and saw home, we lived in the cars, and we lived in little trailers, and we lived on the side of the streets, and we lived, you know, where we could live at. You know what I'm saying? But as we got older, you know what I'm saying, with the help of fucking general assistance and welfare and all that shit, we were able to get a fucking little house. The ugliest house, 869 Vine Street in San Jose. Ugly as a motherfucker. We'll look at the house, you won't believe me. Motherfucker ugly. That's what we did that, money. That shit's haunted, my boy. And like I said, money, that was our first little spot we got out here. And it was our first house that, you know, and of course you don't give a fuck what the house looks like, it's a house. You know what I'm saying? So growing up, money, we really didn't have shit, money. We didn't have a support system in our household. Money, my stepdad would beat the fuck out of my mom, end up in jail, or just leave again, and then it was just us, and then it was, you know what I'm saying? It was always fucked up, basically. Like I said, I don't even remember having a birthday party. I remember some of my sister's birthday. I remember my sister Tina, we had a big birthday party for her. I remember maybe a couple parties for my younger sisters, my little brother. I never had a birthday party. I'll never remember having a birthday party, money. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we one of those families where it's, you know, every Christmas, you know, the cops are coming. New Year's, cops are coming. Easter, cops are coming. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. See, with the mile, cops are coming. 4th of July, cops are coming. You know, it's one of them things, money. And me knowing all these things as a young man, I was mad at her, mad at everything, that I forgot that my siblings are way younger than me and probably didn't have no idea how to cope with the shit. Me, I went to the Southside neighborhood and busted heads open. That's how I coped with my shit. You know what I'm saying? Me, I was in the streets, money, teaching gang culture to the younger dudes, to dudes my age, even older than me. I was doing fucking gang culture 101 with all these people, money. I was teaching these dudes by example how to be better gang members, how to be more violent with violent motherfuckers, money. How to teach people how to do something so violent to somebody that they don't come back for revenge, money. I was there, like I said, money. I was teaching basically gang horses in the streets as a young man, when I should have been teaching my brothers and my sisters, money. When I should have been teaching my brother and my sisters. When I should have been watching over myself. You know, by us leaving our little carnalas, money, and we go to jail, money, they end up with the wrong vato, like I said, money, on dope, but dude is beating them, money. You know what I'm saying? And just doing bad things with their money. And then that's just the beginning. But they end up with these people for so long, money. They never really got to enjoy their life. You know what I'm saying? And to a point where they got to enjoy their life. They end up with this person that's okay with being on fucking assistance and okay with not working, okay with, under the table job, working when you feel like it, not putting, paying $20 because they have housing, and this person ain't trying to grow. You know what I'm saying? But us being men or young men, and we know how to move around in the streets, we should know how to take care of our families, so we shall never ever pick anybody or anything over our familia, our immediate family. Like I said, our main holiday in this life, money, is to look out for our siblings, G, while we're here. Build with them, money. Make shit happen. Oh, family is fucking really important, no matter what you say, because at the end of the day, you get fucked by everybody, money, and your family's still going to be there. But that depends, though, money, because some people deteriorate their own family. They don't, like I said, I didn't take care of my family like I should have. My sisters would be in way better situations. My little brother wouldn't be in jail right now. In this life, no matter what, we got choices. And you can go back and recollect how many different people told you, whether it was Victory Outreach cats or, the teacher or, someone just older that ran into you and met you and just kind of knew you a little bit because you was mowing their lawns, or you knew the newspaper or whatever it is, and they hit you with a couple little lineas that just kind of like, wow. But then you just fuck one ear and out the other, and you're back to a regular routine, baby, doing the same shit. We go home and we play it off. And after a while, me at a certain age, I just like a straight cholo at home, leave, bumping oldies, all that shit. 18 with a bullet, you know what I'm saying? Fucking Spanish Fly. I bumped all that shit back in 1992, 1993, money. And outside my house, blasted, dressed like a cholo with other cholos. My mom didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It was a 90s was a crazy era, number one. You know what I'm saying? But the 80s and the 70s were way more, it was crazy, money. There was a timing of Chicanos, money. It was a time where Chicanos in the 90s got more recognition because the Chicano culture, the Cholo culture, that's a subculture of being a Chicano. Because most Chicanos, you remember, Chicano money is activism money. It's going against the fucking grain money. It's going against this systematic, racist fucking agenda money. That's what being Chicano is. Being Chicano is people that feel that they were never fully colonized, so we don't gotta be decolonized. You know what I'm saying? The thing about it though, money, is that like the tribes way before us, 1,000 years ago, we continue to fight with each other, money. You know what I'm saying? We should have learned from when Hernan Cortez came and turned us all against each other, and then look what happened. And we still ain't learned, money, because we still going at each other's fucking necks. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, overall, it should be familia, money. And if you're going to be in these barrios familia, then we shouldn't be sending each other to jails. We shouldn't be putting each other in the line of fire. We should be doing a lot of things. We should start businesses, money. So let me jump back into this whole family thing, money. Familia. And how important it is, my boy, that you young men make a decision for your familia, G. Don't fucking waste your whole life going in and out of jails, And you never really took care of your family, money. You know how many, you watch all the old school movies, man, these vatos, they go all out. They go all out. The Vicente Fernandez, money, this guy was a little kid. You see how he was taking care of his family now? You see that on Netflix? Check that shit out. From a young ass age, money, a lot of little things this little kid was doing and everything remind me of myself in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying that like to be cool and I'm real life shit. when you struggle, the life is almost the same. Everybody's life, especially in these third world countries or somewhere where they're less fortunate. You know what I'm saying? Dirt roads and all that type of shit. I'm just saying this dude, he held it down for a long time, money, just to take care of his family, money, family overall. These are people we should learn from. They understand the fundamentals and the principles, money, of what family is. You know what I'm saying? And they gotta know that in this life, money, all we have is each other. We gotta take care of each other. You always take care of your brother, you always take care of your sister. You know what I'm saying? Your brother's always gonna be there for you, your sister's always gonna be there for you. I'm not gonna be here your whole life. You know what I'm saying? But you're gonna be here my whole life. And I'm gonna do everything I can necessary to take care of you. Now, we can do this with our kids, money. We teach our kids these values, money. You know what I'm saying? These fundamentals in this life, that families overall, you take care of your familia. Because you can have 1,000 friends and if they fuck you over at the end, your family should always be there, money. But I'm just saying that it's not like, for me, for instance, we didn't have that. You watch the movie La Familia, Chucho shouldn't have got killed. Chucho shouldn't have got killed in La Familia, money. You know what I'm saying? Chucho had his jefito there, money, trying to fucking install these fucking values into him. His jefita was there, money. His canalas, his hermanos, everybody, man, they loved him, money. You know what I'm saying? But the barrio, money, it's so easy to get caught up. That's why you see these vatos in the hood and you're like, why the fuck you in the hood? You got your everybody there right there at your house. Like, what the fuck you doing here? You know what I'm saying? But the streets, money, the environment, the struggle, being barely making it, place to place, all these kind of things, money, have an effect on us when we're young, money, and it makes us retaliate by not giving a fuck, money, and we go into these long time gangbanging modes, money. Like I said, the body will consume you, money. It will eat you a fucking life, G. You know what I'm saying? You will fucking end up over there in the back in a box, money. You know what I'm saying? Fucking straight up, G, money. You know what I'm saying? Rotting alive, money. Chucho, he shouldn't have had to get pilled, money. You know what I'm saying? And because he had all his familia there, G. But the body will consume you, G. The people around you at school. That's why you got to be on your kids, money, because you always got to watch out who they around. You know what I'm saying? Who they hanging around with? Who's coming around the house? Now, who they talking to on the phone? Even a little hyena could get you, hook up with a little hyena. Then you run all her cousins. You're in the car with them. Now you're looking at a fucking shooting that happened. I mean, it's so easy for our kids to get caught up in all this, the web, money. And we're supposed to know about this web of violence, money. We're supposed to know how this shit goes. And that's why we older, we prevent the shit. But, like I said, my shit is a lot of regrets, my boy. And it's not regrets that I have as a grown-ass man, because I've learned a lot growing up. But there was a certain point, these last 10 years, I think I've excelled so much because I understand my life. I understand me. I understand the sacrifice I did and why. I was willing to do this and I was willing to do that. All these things are stepping stones to my growth, money, and each one was a level. You know what I'm saying? And I understand all these things, money. And that's why I had to depart from a lot of people, and I had to change a lot of things to be able to develop the best me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that, like I said, everybody turns to alcohol or drugs when life gets hard, money. But that just makes it 10 times worse. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, you watch all the movies, you watch all the fucking hardcore motherfuckers that could have made it. They could have did a lot of shit, but they let drugs and alcohol consume them. Just like us in the streets, money, these gangs, they will consume us, money. They will get us to a point where we end up running away in prison, my boy. If not killed in the streets. And like I said, we do a lot of stuff that is highly dysfunctional when it comes to our families, money. And like I said, everything, the decisions that we make as young men will detour, possibly 99% of the time, your family, money. It'll detour the kids, it'll detour your brothers and sisters, your siblings, depending on what happens. But like I said, that's why we got to make the right decision for ourselves. Plus, gangbanging ain't even worth it no more, my boy. You go to jail, it's cool, but we have to turn the whole narrative of what gangbanging is, money, especially brown on brown. And I'm not saying brown on black. I'm just saying before we can do anything, we got to stop killing our own people, money, because every time we do something to one of our own people, like I said, it goes back to familia, homie. So not only do you fuck up your familia's life by shooting this fool, You fuck up their familia, money, his familia by shooting his ass, because now you leave a jefita without her son, the jefito without his son, the carnalas and the carnalito without their fucking big brother, you know what I'm saying, or little brother, you know what I'm saying? It's just, and then you go to jail, and you're gonna go do this time, and now you're taking away from your siblings, and you take away from your jefita. And she could, if you go get 15, 20 years of her life, she's gonna put on hold to make sure you're okay. It's a fucked up way, money. This system, the way we did it, money, or whoever fucking did it, or the shit that we've fallen into, it's so deep. It's so deep, and it's fucking, it kills us, money, as familias. But it's the old school divide and conquer mentality, money, that we've adapted to without even knowing, because it's become we've normalized it. Just like going to jails. How the fuck is that normal to go put in work and go to jail, go to jail, go to jail like it's nothing? We normalize this shit. You know what I'm saying? And this has destroyed our families, money. You know what I'm saying? And they don't take, I'm not talking about the first 3, 4, 5 years, 30 years. You know, sisters all drugged up, alcohol, all fucked up. They can't even get their lives right. All the hatred in their heart. You know, it's everything they went through. I understand all that. From everybody, money. We all gonna go through crazy shit, hardships, money. Women get raped, that fucks their whole life up. Us as men gotta watch our daughters around all these motherfucking animals, money. You know what I'm saying? Imagine what our sisters went through while we were in jails, money. For our jefita was single out here, and we went to jail, women here to protect her. I protected my mom by all means necessary. I didn't know my mom. Money. You know what I'm saying? I got taken away when I was 5 or 6. By the time I came back, I was really going to be 10 years old. And next thing I know, I'm going to juvenile halls. You know what I'm saying? Never really got to know my mom. And my whole life I've been locked up, going in and out of jails. And then by the time I actually said anything to my mom said some shit to me. And I just stood with my mom for like 7, 8 years. I didn't know my mom, like I said, so I really don't feel like I protect my mom. My mom sent me to jail. I protect my mom by all means necessary. My mom has sent me to jail waiting for protecting her from men that hit her. You know what I'm saying? She's taking their side from me. I came out of her womb. But I understand though, because she don't even know me either. She knows I'm her son. But when she gets drunk, I think she forgets that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up in a whole different type of environment, money. Like I said, since a kid, that's all I know is to protect my family, even though I don't know my family really. You know, my sisters, I remember all my little sisters when they were younger, money, but I was waiting in and out of jails, money, and I was fucked up in my head, like really fucked up in my head as a younger man. I didn't know I was really fucked up, put it like that. You feel me? And I was going through a lot of shit with me, you know what I'm saying, and internal shit that I didn't understand. And like I said, at the same time, I'm fighting with these people. I'm getting beat up by these people. I'm getting, fucked up by my own mom. My own was from my hood putting this kind of shit on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about back in 92, 93. You know what I'm saying? 94, when I was younger, man. Then I went to prison, and it was just, and that was just another place to go now and let out all my frustrations. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we look for when we're young and we mad at the world, money. We look for where we can let our, an outlet for our frustrations, money. And me joining this gang and fighting with all these other people had became that outlet. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it also kept me in a net where I was away from my family, money. My immediate family, I should have been there for all my sisters, money. And they went through a lot of little fucking heartaches and a lot of hardships and a lot of bullshit that they shouldn't have went through. Because these fucking low-life motherfuckers that end up around your fucking sisters, money, and end up they waste 10, 15, 20 years of their life. A man will derail you, Women always got to understand, when you pick your man, you don't want to pick a fucking scumbag, man. You want to pick that fucking drunk bastard. You want to pick that fucking dude that fucking needs to do coke every week. You know what I'm saying? But you want a good motherfucker that's going to just shut down from everything and know that this is my priority, this is my woman, this is my family, everything's over this, and nothing's over this. This is over everything. I will never put anything that's going to damage, affect, destroy, or anything that's going to have an adverse effect basically on my family. I would never do. I never put myself in harm's way. I wouldn't put my family in harm's way by getting drugged up or becoming an alcoholic, because you can become an alcoholic because you can become an alcoholic or a drug addict so easily. That you can go right now, you don't believe me, go check, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Go do fucking methamphetamines for a month to see if you're not addicted to that shit. Drink every day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then drink Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, then drink Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then drink Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. By the time you're done doing that whole 7 day all the way down, it'll take about 8 weeks, 9 weeks. By the time you're done with that, you'll be an alcoholic. You're going to need that shit. And what happens is we end up around these people where we weren't doing this before, but then we do it with them and we do it again and they can stop it and maybe we can't. The next thing you know, 20 years down the line, you're homeless. You know what I'm saying? Life is fucked up. It's corrupted, money. And that's why you got to understand all these motherfucking options and outlets and possibilities that can happen down the line by just making some of these bad decisions. That's why you're always supposed to sit back. Like they used to tell me, the old school motherfuckers from Victory Outreach and other people I run into, you play the tape from the beginning to the end. Give yourself 3-4 different endings. You know what I'm saying? And then make your fucking decision on what the fuck you want to do if you really want to fuck your whole shit up. You know what I'm saying? Remember, the people that are telling you about these gangs, not to join this, not to do that, don't do this. They're not telling you because they're trying to run your fucking life. They're trying to tell you so you don't ruin your fucking life. There's a fucking difference. You know what I'm saying? So think about all these things, money, because like I said, money, my regrets in this life, I have a lot. Anybody who sits here and says they don't have no fucking regrets, money, they don't have no conscience, money, and they probably don't even understand life yet. You could be old as fuck. There's 70-year-old dumbasses. They've been here for 70 years and still don't know, they can't even fucking tell you anything that you ain't heard and you're 20. You know what I'm saying? Old motherfuckers have a lot of wisdom about this life. And that's why you're supposed to be here. And when you're going through this life, you're supposed to understand, like, if you're too busy want to work, coming back, you never were really that open-minded to really understand life and what can you really teach people around you. You know what I'm saying? So be more open-minded. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, family over everything, money. You know what I mean? Don't fall for the bullshit, G. Don't put nothing's, no secondary family. Your family's your family. That's your priority. Think about your carnalitos. Think about your carnalitas. Think about your jefita, your jefito, your abuelitos. All these people that you got in your household that love you. And you're willing to go and throw all that away. And not saying these people don't care about you. You may have grown up with all these dudes from kindergarten. And now you guys, 19, 20 years old, went to high schools, everything with each other. I understand that. And that's why you're supposed to look out for each other and make better decisions, better judgments on what you guys want to do. Because once one of you guys end up going to jail, it could become a domino effect, or maybe one or two of you guys make the choice to say, fuck that, I'm done. But now your other homie, who you grew up with, is doing life. So you get to enjoy the rest of your life, but he's in there for life. You know what I'm saying? So make good decisions for yourselves, money. And if you got older people telling you something, take heed to that shit. Listen, my boy. You know what I'm saying? You get further in life, there'll be a lot less mistakes, a lot less detours, and a lot less life wasted. You know what I'm saying? Behind you wanting to go through the shit yourself when you can skip all these fucking levels, money. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, my biggest regret in this life is not being there for my familia and my sisters. My little brother, money. Shit fucking kills me every fucking day. My job as a young man, as an older brother, I should have been there for all my sisters, money. You know what I'm saying? But I spent my whole life gangbanging and going into these jails, money, and didn't even think about my sisters. And that's why I was on the streets. I protected my sisters by all means. My little brother by all means. You touch my brother, my sisters, I'm gonna fucking kill your fucking ass. You know what I'm saying? And life's a lot more different now for me, though. I'm not gonna tell you that I'm gonna do all these things like I did when I was younger, money. My stories and everything and all the shit I tell you, money, it's a life story. So like I said, it's a lot of shit I ain't told you. You know what I'm saying? I got books coming out though, and that's why I'm keeping some things from the shows that I'm doing, because like I said, I got like 4 or 5 books I'm gonna be pushing out, and you're gonna be able to fuck with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you take time out to read, because we all have to read. I read an hour every single day. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep the brain fucking moving around inside there, and you know what I'm saying, jogging and getting to where it has to go every single day. You know what I mean? But just keep all that in mind, my boy. Like, I'm not here to judge nobody. I'm just talking about my life and my regrets, money, and I taking care of my family, my siblings, making the decisions in my life that detoured me for a very, very, very long time, to the point where it was too late for me to try to bring these people back. You know what I'm saying? Methamphetamines is a motherfucker, money. It's killing our society, money. It's basically attacking the weak, you know what I'm saying, or the vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Or the people that have, the most hardships, these fucking drugs are attacking their money. And a lot of us are making money off of these fucking drugs. Not me. I never sold that shit. I wouldn't sell it, just based on the fact that my own family suffers from that shit. So I've always been 100% against drugs. I even had a zero tolerance on drugs in my barrio, where a lot of people got mad at me. I made a lot of enemies within my own neighborhood. I had to kick out good soldiers and everything, money. But people didn't understand the effect this will have on you and what you're doing by giving 10, 15, 20 other homies in the hood that shit. is you're possibly taking part in 10, 15, 20 years down the line, helping these dudes become victims of that shit. You know, being homeless and you know, no teeth and just everything that can happen bad to you, money. So I was just trying to avoid that in my early 20s so that don't happen to nobody when we're in our 30s or 40s. You know what I'm saying? But I failed, and I only failed because there were so many people that were against what I was trying to do, and I was just trying to look out for the people. You know, like I said, this was my secondary family, man. You know what I'm saying? That I actually, it wasn't even a secondary family because really my immediate family became my secondary family, and this family became my number one family, and I looked out for these people. Not saying I didn't look out for my immediate family, my sisters and my brother and my mom, but on the other end, you know, it was different, money. For instance, the story I tell about Horseshoe when I stabbed these fools at the fucking Raider game on one of my no guts, no glories. 2 years or about 3, 4 years before that incident had happened, some of these dudes had jumped my stepdad at Horseshoe because they lived at Horseshoe. And I know who they were, I know who did it, I know who was there. So that's why I didn't hesitate to do what I had to do because some of these people were there. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, and although my homies are the ones who started the shit, and although I have these bunch of resentment and I never really talked to my stepdad at all growing up at all, we never really hit, we were never really tight. I still wanted revenge for what they did to him. So grabbing these fools and doing what I did, like I said, they jumped my stepdad money way before I did anything around these people or that I did anything to this guy because, like I said, he was involved. So what goes around comes around type of shit is all it was. You feel me? But like I said, my point is I've always took care of my familia, even the ones that I never really, you know, that they were hard to say that they were my family. You know what I'm saying? I called them when I called them, but still, it's just, there's a difference from your kids growing up in your house and you raising your kids. Your kids, there's a lot of people that drink every fucking weekend, party, this, that, they're at the bars. Your kids are just at the house and they go to school, they come back, you feed them and put them to sleep, whatever it is. It's a daily routine that, you know what I'm saying, they're just going every single day and on the weekends you're partying and all that kind of shit. Like I said, that your kids are just growing up in your house. You're not raising them. You know, raising your kids, money it's a hard responsibility to really raise your kids. See, these people, these Punjabis and Asian cats and smart people, they raise their kids. You know what I mean? They're not laying to school or this person or some influences from some other kids or nobody's raising their kids except for them. They're raising their fucking kids. So they're teaching them, they're talking to them, they're giving them fucking, points of authority. They're fucking just on point. They're being concise. They're being consistent. They're being, they're always on them, honey, to teach them this life. So, see, because the biggest thing about this life really is having, a good sense of common sense. The average people, you can go to school all fucking day and learn all kinds of shit and still be a stupid fuck.